Okay, today I'm going to do an investigation on the Maricopa Health Plan. Part of it is known as Access. I think this is a subdivision as Access. I could be wrong, so let's just see what happens anyway. Because this is all part of what I'm trying to find out.
Your calling area. Sorry, the toll-free number you have dialed is blocked from your calling area.
Wow, okay. So, this is interesting. The toll-free number is blocked. Now, if the toll-free number is blocked, how the heck am I supposed to contact you? Jeez. And now it says behavioral health services. Now, who's the one who needs behavioral health services? I think it might be their web designer. I don't know if I should make this one. Well, we're on 1 minute and a half, so let's see, behavioral health services. I'm just going to try them. What the heck? I think it's dial tone. What? Let me hit the redial. Oops, I guess redial don't work when it's perched. I can't do that. 1-800. Oh, I put an extra 0 in there. All right, try it again. Sorry about that, folks. There was another minute of your life.
Thank you for calling the University of Arizona Health Plan. Please listen carefully. The options have changed. For English. Just a reminder to get your flu shot soon at a contracted pharmacy near you. For University Family Care, press 1. For Maricopa Health Plan, press 2. If you are a member or for expedited member eligibility information only, press 1. For customer care, press 2. For provider claim inquiries, press 3. Please have your member ID available. This call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance.
You think? Well, it's my coffee. I might have to rush to that.
Customer care, my name is Carla. How may I help you?
Hey, Carla. Is this what is known as MHP?
Yes, this is Maricopa Healthline.
Associated with Access?
Correct.
Now, are you guys like a psychological division, or are you a division that also specializes in generalized care?
We do medical care, but we do have a I'm sorry. Actually, no, we just do the medical care. We don't do any of like the behavioral stuff.
You don't do what? I didn't understand you.
Like the behavioral.
You do not.
That would be no. That goes through one of our companies would be Simpatico.
All right, no, and that's fine. So you're more of a like just like a regular doctor is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, all right, no, which is good, which is what I'm looking for, because I'm now tell me if I'm nuts or not, but no reference to the behavioral thing. No, but tell me if I'm nuts or not. But I had a really severe case of insomnia the other month. I should say already, because I quit smoking, and I was so sleepy that when I went to let the dogs in and out, I felt really bad. And then the next day, my sister decided to take me to the emergency room, and I had no insurance at the time because I was just getting over a bad case of diverticulosis. And so my income was terrible. And so it was so terrible, I had no insurance. So, anyway, so she says, I put you under access. She did this all without my permission, but, I just wanted to get care, so that didn't matter to me. Okay? So anyway, so like one of the things is after they treated me initially and stabilized me after the fall, they they threw me in a rehab home, and I was kind of okay with that, because I didn't realize it, but apparently because the insomnia, I just found this out the other day, that they literally knocked me out a day and a half so I could get some sleep, because I literally only slept, in 7 days, I only slept 7 hours. I only slept, this is after quitting tobacco for like 35 years. And so anyway, I never realized how atrophied you could get when you're in a hospital for 5 days straight, because I was in Banner Healthcare under their emergency services. Okay, so anyway, they decided I should go to oh my God, I blocked out the name. I'll give you they decided I should go to the Citadel. That was it. I blocked out the name because it reminds me of a horror movie, which it kind of was. Well, anyway, I went to the Citadel, and meanwhile I was there, some of the medical treatment was fine, but they ended up putting me on Librium. They ended up putting me on folic acid to increase my vitamins, and then because of the fall, they put me on hydrocodone, and that really helped me. And so I was on hydrocodone for 3 weeks. Now, to be honest, I'm not one. Other than tobacco, I'll admit, I'm not really one of these, people that get, I don't know how to describe it, where I get addicted to stuff like that, because I've had access to different drugs and stuff like that, being a musician, and it's like, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. And anyway, so my doctor, who he refuses to assign me or prescribe to me hydrocodone, and he refuses. The best compromise we could come up with was 2 more weeks of Librium, whereas my doctor told me that I should be on Librium for quite some time. And so I'm just wondering what to do next. Do I find a different provider and just dump this guy and just find somebody else, or what should I do? Any ideas?
Yeah, you might want to do that. Go ahead and switch doctors, just because we really don't
don't have a say on what they prescribe you. And if he, refuses to prescribe you, especially something like a narcotic, there's really nothing that we can do. We can't really force a doctor to prescribe it to you.
Okay, yeah, I mean, because
Maybe like the next step that you want to take would be maybe switching your doctor.
yeah, because I mean, one of the things he's saying is, oh well, maybe you should go see a psychiatrist. For pain, what good is a psychiatrist gonna do for me? I mean, maybe he needs a psychiatrist, and that's why I didn't mention his name or anything. But so, would you be able to help me find a doctor that's by my house? Because another thing that kind of had me interested, for lack of a better word, was I don't know if you ever heard of the term hemochromatosis. And first of all, you've heard of anemia, right? Where you don't have enough iron in your blood, correct? I have the opposite. I have hemochromatosis, where I have too much iron in my blood. Now, however, it is not enough to be worth treated. And so they just said, now we're just going to ignore it, and we'll occasionally keep an eye on it. So like about a year and a half ago, as they were trying to diagnose what was wrong with me, which was I had diverticulosis. That's where food gets caught in your intestines, and it's very, very, very painful. The first thing they did, like any good doctor would do, was run a blood panel, and it ended up that my iron counts were high, just as I told them they would be. And so he's like, "Oh, okay, then we're okay that way," because my iron counts are a little high. I mean, I even had a biopsy about 15 years ago, and my iron and everything is about where it was 15 years ago. So I'm not worried about it one bit, to be honest. And now here he comes along, and he's saying, "Oh, you might have what did I just say? The opposite of hemochromatosis, anemia." Now he comes along saying I might have anemia, and this kind of concerns me. And then my primary at the rehabilitation center, he was telling me that I should be on Librium for a long time, but then I was also doing some research on myself on the internet, and it says, you should be on it a while. However, you have to wean yourself off it because it does become addictive. You just don't know it. And because here's this guy, after I'm on Librium for probably 2 months, he's at first refusing to give me a prescription, and so I asked, I kind of had to beg and plead and borrow, beg that I get at least a 2-week supply, because I figured in the meantime I could find a different doctor. So anyway, if you could give me the name of some good doctors, that would be great, and then I'll give them a call. And it doesn't matter to me on something like this, where somebody is helpful to me or whatever. Do you guys want any kind of feedback? Do you want to know the doctor that I'm seeing, or is that standard that each one might operate their own way, that perhaps does comply within the rules of the medical association, but and you really, don't care for feedback? It's up to you. Whatever you want. But if you have names and numbers of places I could contact, that would be great.
Sure. Go help you out with that. What's your ID number?
I'm sorry?
What's your ID number?
1 second.
And what's your name, address, and your date of birth?
Name is Richard. Yeah, there was one lady I called up, and I forget exactly what I asked, but man, she was rude.
Let's see.
I mean, that's the problem with some of these people is I mean, it doesn't matter whether whether they are receptionists, nurses, doctors. I mean, but if they work in a facility, they could be rude. I mean, like, you know, at the office I was at today, when I was finished with the appointment, I said, "Do you guys call the cab or do I?" And they go, "Oh, it don't matter." I mean, nothing rude about that. And then I said, "Oh, I think I noticed that you might have an internet security breach." Oh, but they also already at first said, we're going to lunch in just a few minutes. Like, meaning, like, there's two ladies there. And the one who said that was, like, meaning, you're going to have to get out of here. And I said, well, then I'm calling the cab first, because in case I need information, you know, I'm calling the cab first. So, and as it ended up, I didn't have their address handy, because I said, do you have a business card? And they're like, no, we don't have a business card. And it's like, oh, that's nice. A doctor without a business card. Different point, but oh, that's nice. So she wrote down the address. I got my taxi. No big deal. And anyway, as it ended up, I was slightly mistaken. But what it was is it had an audio clinic just next door that it had guest access on their internet. And it said the name of their audio clinic. And I think it's very stupid because I do computers for a living, and you know, if I set up, just say I set up your internet and I put Maricopa Health Plan as your what's called SSID, then all the hackers in the world would say, "Ooh, I could get names, numbers, and social security numbers if I could successfully hack them." Whereas if I just gave you a generic name like internet access, it'd be like, is it worth hacking? You know, that type of thing. But anyway, it was funny because the lady who thought she was empowered, like, well, tell us what it is. I'm like, nope, not till I call my taxi. Because after you know, being in the Citadel for 4 or 5 weeks, I notice how mean some of these people can be.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what? I'm sorry.
Some people that should be a little bit more tactful.
Oh God! You know, it was really funny. Do you know what DON is? That's Director of Nurses. Well, one day I was helping their staff change out some fluorescent light bulbs. I was not doing anything unsafe. But you know, when you're trying to change out a fluorescent light bulb, it helps if you have two people. The guy up on the ladder, and then the guy on the ground where, like, the guy on the ladder says, "Here, take this light bulb." And then you say, "Okay." Then he's like, "Okay, now hand me that light bulb." And then, you know, it goes back and forth. "Take this light bulb, hand me that light bulb." And this way the guy doesn't have to crawl up and down the ladder. That serious pain. Well, he got 2 of the 4 working. And then he noticed that he knew he was going to need more light bulbs, because I guess he was using some used ones. And yes, I could tell they were used because I do electronics for a living. But anyway, so he, as he closes the lid so it don't look ugly, he notices water dripping, and he goes, "Oh my God, I better go take care of this first." You know, so because it just rained the other night, and so I'm waiting there for a few minutes. And then finally I go back to my room to rest for about 5-10 minutes, because that's why I'm in rehab. So I go down to the front desk, which is right where the guy was changing the light bulbs. And, I asked the lady, and this is what the conversation was. Have you seen Oscar? Because she might have seen me helping Oscar. And she goes, no, I haven't. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And right away, the director of nurse, she just jumps all over me saying, you're not supposed to be talking to anybody at the front desk. And I said, well, I was helping your crew out. He was trying to change lights out, and it's a lot easier to do it with 2 people. I was helping your people out. And it kind of like, in a way, put her in her shoes. And it was just kind of funny. She's like, well, next time ring a nurse's attendance bell. Well, guess what? Next time there isn't going to be a nurse's attendance bell when I'm trying to help out your facility, that type of thing. And I'm probably, and I just got a survey, and oh man, they're going to get a wonderful survey.
No. Sounds very bad.
Oh yeah, those emergency buttons that are supposed the strings that you pull in case you're dying, you can't get out of bed, and you need a nurse.
Yes.
In the room that I was in, neither of them worked.
Oh.
And so okay, so there's no nurses within the earshot, and somebody's dying. Well, they only died because they couldn't call a nurse. That's all. No big deal. So, I should probably report them just to, do the right thing. But anyway, so what kind of numbers do you have for me? Because I need to get away from this guy. I really need to get away from this guy and find somebody else. If you mention he's with 3 facilities. If you mention his name, I'm just going to say, no, somebody else, please.
Okay. Well, the first one that we have, and they actually have a lot of physicians at this facility, would be for Hatfield Family Medicine.
Hatfield? They have 3 of them, and those are the ones I do not want to go to.
Okay. Let me see what other ones they have.
Yep, because I need mental health care because I'm in pain. Now, maybe these are covered by your plan. There's one called Belda, B-E-L-D. I might have spelled it wrong. I had a hard time understanding the lady, but I'll start off with the address. 5252 East Main.
Yes, that's Belda Rose Medical Center.
Belda Rose?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she just told me Belda, but that's okay. But Belda Rose would have been better. Okay, so that they do take the name of your plan, which is MHP, and they could prescribe narcotics if need be.
Yes.
Okay, good. And to be honest, I hate I hate pills. I really hate pills. But in this particular case, if they're going to help me, I'll make an exception. Because like I said, I've been a musician all my life, and the only thing was, and I'll admit it, was drinking and pot, and never any other drugs. Never any other drugs. I was interviewed by the White House one time. You ever take drugs? And I'm like, well, I'm a musician. I smoke pot. And then the next day later, they said, oh, well, sorry, we can't use you. And then the next 2 days later, they said, well, we can't find anybody else that's qualified for you. You're going to do the work. You're just not going to do it on site. So I'm like, okay. In spite of my pot smoking, but then again, that who's that guy? Bill Clinton. He once tried pot, so I guess I'm okay. But anyway, so all right, so we got Bella Rose, the one that was kind of crappy, and I'm gonna try again anyway, because like I said, it might have just been the person answering the phone, and it might have been during lunch hour or something. and I'm gonna be very, different in how I word things. I got a Maricopa Integrated Health Systems at 4343 East University.
Yes, that's one of them.
I don't. Do you know where Power and McKellips or Power and Brown? Those are my main roads. Do you know where that is, or are you somewhere else?
We're looking in Tucson.
Oh, you live in Tucson, so you wouldn't know that. Okay, so no, okay. Like if you were to look at a map, you don't have a map handy in front of you, do you?
No, we don't.
Okay, because I was gonna say we're by Apache Junction, if that helps you any.
I mean, I do have a couple here that do come out in Apache Junction.
Okay.
One of them would be from Mountain Health and Wellness.
Start off with the address. I'm not gonna write it down, but start off with the address, and I'll tell you if it's good or bad.
It's gonna be 625 North Plaza Drive.
North what?
North Plaza Drive.
Them. Let me get to a different computer here real quick, because I'm trying to look up multiple stuff. So let me look it up. It'll only take me. So, come on. Okay. All right. Now I'll type it down. What is it, please?
One is on 625 North Plaza Drive.
620. Slow typer. 625. That's it. 625 North.
Plaza Drive. Plaza Drive.
Oh, and that's Apache Junction. That might be fairly close. That Hatfield one is real close, which is nice. But I'd rather drive 20 minutes and get the care I need than 5 minutes and being told that I'm crazy because I'm in pain. I mean, you ever hear of such a thing?
Doctors, I don't know. That Bill has different opinions.
I'm crazy because I'm in pain. I mean, maybe the pain is making me crazy, if you think about it that way. All right, now it's kind of showing me a map here, and it might be a good candidate. All right, I just expanded it, and I mean, and I'm not knocking you. To be fair, if you don't know, if you're in Tucson, I mean, I know a couple of streets in Tucson, but I couldn't recommend a place to you in Tucson, from where you live, So,
Yeah.
so I understand.
I'm not familiar with Phoenix at all, or Apache Junction, or
Oh, well, actually,
any of those places.
Well, I'll tell you what. That one's a little far, but doable. So I'm gonna write it down. 625 North Plaza Drive. What's the phone number and name of the facility?
The name is going to be Mountain Health and Wellness.
I'm sorry. Say that again, please.
Mountain Health and Wellness.
Mountain Health and Wellness. And yes, that's approximately, not that it does you any good, but that's like by Meridian Road. So that's probably going to be, well, it'll make the taxi cab driver happy because that'll be about 25 minutes. But like I said, I'd rather drive, 25 minutes than 3 minutes and not get the care I need. I mean, ugh. So, well, anyway, what was your name again?
My name is Carla.
Carla, thank you very much. And what is this number that I reached you at, just so in case I need to reach you again, because or even if I don't get you exactly, what's the main number for this place?
It's 1-800. 582.
I'm sorry.
8686.
Wait, 582.
582.
8686. Let me just see if it's on my card by any chance. Nope. Just a behavioral health services phone, which I don't know why that would be on this card. You know, I mean, you know, when I had my Blue Cross Blue Shield, you know, it never had a type of number like that. So I'm just gonna write Carla and more places. I don't know what that means if I need it. So Carla, you have been most helpful. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. You have a good day.
Well, I will now. So thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye. See, that is some good health care on the phone in terms of, sure, I ramble a bit, but it all does tie in. And she was patient and polite. I mean, some of these people, like I'm telling you, that Hatfield clinic, it was really Dr. Lewis is the doctor working under him. And I'm telling you, you know, he thinks that I should consult us. You know, first of all, you know, I'm not going to admit more to my drinking beer than, which I don't anymore, but just because I want Librium, which is like a universal helps you stop drinking thing, and also I'm sure it helps you stop with smoking, because just like most smokers, I do have some of the smoking pangs, and you know, I still have some of my insomnia and all that, and you know, if you talk to non-smokers, I already put a little survey on smoking, you know, on my Facebook page, and a few people have said, oh yeah, it's been like 20, 30 years, and I still feel like I want a cigarette, you know, and you know, who knows, maybe if they had Librium, you know, maybe they wouldn't have been as bad. So, you know, some doctors are correct, some are wrong. You know, my diverticulosis, you know, my primary doctor, who I really do like, he said, you need to eat more meat, which is contrary to having too much iron in your blood, in my opinion.